Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Rugby League World Cup. This one is a must-win for both of these sides. Italy getting themselves a first-round win over Scotland, who have just been defeated by Australia yesterday, 84-0. So because of that, it opens up the door for Fiji, possibly get themselves in that top two if they can get a victory over Italy here. But that will certainly be a tough task with the way that the Italians have been playing as of late. We have got the Italian national anthem currently in our eardrums. And after that, players will be almost taken to the field. But I hope you guys are all doing well. Do let me know who you think will be able to win this contest. This is the way that the table sits currently for Group B. As you can see, Australia with that massive points differential sitting plus 118. 2 from 2 wins for themselves in their first 2 games. Their last matchup, though, will be up against Italy, which is why it is so important for Italy to get the win here and try and keep that winning alive just for a little bit longer, get through to the quarterfinals, and then anything can happen from there. Ideally for Fiji, they will want to win this game somewhere around maybe, unfortunately, it's probably around that 20-plus margin just to make it a bit lighter on them when they do play Scotland in their next match after that. But this is the Fijian lineup. Watch out for the big wingers in this game. Sivo, he was playing for the Parramatta Eels. Unfortunately for him, didn't really go the best during the finals football stage of the NRL. Kurisau in the 4-pack, though, he will be a dangerous man. And also Viliami Kakao, another player to watch out for the big Fijians. Then for Italy, looking through at their starting lineup, I'm not too familiar with this Italian side, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do out on the field, led by Nathan Brown, their captain, at number 13. Going to be an awesome game. See who is able to get the better of it. It's actually a beautiful afternoon at the moment where this game is taking place in Newcastle, which is great news. I want to say we haven't had too many of the games affected by rain as of yet, and hopefully that continues throughout the rest of the competition. We have got their Car Crazy said morning all. Not much love for Italy in the polls, says Car Crazy, and wouldn't be surprised if Italy win this one, says Ed Fogel. Yeah, Italy are a strong side. They were able to get themselves the win over Scotland, although in that last matchup, we did see Scotland defeated by Australia by quite a winning margin. Black Ferns destroyed Scotland, Black Cats destroyed Australia, and the Kiwis will demolish Jamaica in there, says Cooper Cronk. And Amelia has said, hi, I hope you are doing very well. Hope you're excited for this matchup. It is currently 2:30 a.m. here in New Zealand, so not too bad of a start time for us if you are a Kiwi, although it depends on, I guess, the sleep schedule you find yourself on, whether or not you consider 2:30 a.m. a decent time. It is for myself, as we have got a 7:30 a.m. URC live stream that we will be doing on the channel between Cardiff and the Stormers. Wellington win the comp. A rising club, says Ed Vogel. It's that Ranfurly Shield, I'm telling you. Every time a side get their opportunity with their Ranfurly Shield, they just seem to elevate to the next level. And Asafa Mills looking like a dangerous individual from what we saw in that game up against Canterbury. But yeah, great win for the Wellingtonians. I believe they're on about an 11-match win streak now, and they will continue that onto the next year's competition. I just got home from the Derby. My body hurts like hell, says Amelia. I haven't actually seen what the score is from that Melbourne Derby. I did go to sleep during it, which sounds weird to say, but I went to sleep during a majority of those games just so that I could be awake nice and early as we've got this live stream. Then at 7:30, we got that next one. And then after that, I believe George is coming around, and we're filming a secret video that you guys will see in the next coming weeks on the Kiwi Lads gaming channel. It may involve a kitchen appliance of some sort, is about all the information I will give you for that one. But do let me know your score predictions. Now, I got the score margin correct for Tonga versus Papua New Guinea, one of the proudest moments of my whole YouTubing career. I doubt that's going to happen in this game, but I'm going to say Fiji win it by 14. I won't spoil the result, says Amelia. And also, will you watch the UFC 2 later on? Hopefully. It depends on whether or not George is gone by the time it starts. Actually, no, it's an early morning UFC start, isn't it? In fact, it's almost going to be starting soon, if I'm not wrong. What time is the first fight, Ed, from the Fight Pass prelims? Do let me know. We may be able to have it in a little window up in the corner while watching these ones. Keep you guys updated on the UFC as well throughout the exciting times for the Fijian side. But they have just finished their song, and now it's going to be Italy, who I believe will be kicking this one off. Well, they know Fiji have got the ball, I think. Yeah, I think it is the case there. It's kind of like a lot of players just running around at different angles. Kami Tha in the starting lineup for the Fijians. Also out on that wing, Sivo, Kakao, Wakeham, Sims, they've got a strong side here, Fiji, and they will be hoping to put it together with their captain, Nyama, I believe it is. If I'm not wrong, the Q. I'm trying to remember how the Q is pronounced. We've done a lot of Fijian sevens and a lot of Fijian rugby union, and now my brain's gone blank. It is Nyama, is it? Is that how you say that one? Do let me know, ladies and gentlemen. I know that the C is pronounced like a TH, and I think the Q is pronounced like a NG. If I'm not too wrong there, but I'm looking forward to this game. This was one of those games that I couldn't miss, even though it was a 2:30 a.m. kickoff. And Brown will be looking to get his side over the line. Like I mentioned, they were able to get themselves the win over the Scottish last week, and they will definitely be wanting to do the same thing up against this Fijian side. Although it's a really tough one to tell how these two sides match up, because Scotland got beaten pretty badly in their game up against Australia. So Australia definitely number one at this point in time. But the question is, who's number two? Is it Italy or is it Fiji? Hey, Hamish, pretty good win for Ireland, and the cricket gets the West Indies, considering I've never met an Irish person that plays it. Hey, anyone be nice for Italy to do well today, says Finnan O'Mara in there as well. And Ireland in the Rugby Sevens, or sorry, not the Rugby Sevens, the Rugby League World Cup aren't actually going too bad either, Finton, if I'm not wrong there. Were they in the Women's Rugby World Cup? I know that they're probably a part of that group that we haven't done many of the games of for the Irish ladies, but they might be through to the quarterfinals as well, if I'm not wrong. But Italy, they will be kicking off this one, kicking from left to right at a nice ground. Sims, the big man, he looks like he's actually got some very solid strapping on that forearm, possibly a bit of an injury from earlier on. But Jack Smith, wearing the bright yellow like they're saying, one of my favourite colours. In fact, the favourite colour of the Kiwi Lads channel. Kingston Park, Newcastle, about to be kicked off for another match of the Rugby League World Cup. Italy will be kicking off to the flying Fijians. He's kicked long. Fiji taking it nicely, and they'll be going for the first solid hit up of the game, and I believe it was Sivo decided to have the first crack. Back across. Good run forward. Fiji, they'll be looking to continuously make meters. Oh, Sivo having a bit of trouble getting back up there. I think he had an Italian on his back. Nice work from Kamita. Gets wrestled down. But yeah, Fiji start this match well. That's going to be the main important factor for them in this game up against Italy. We've seen so far in the competition, meters made is absolutely huge. Whoever's getting more meters normally is getting more possession, getting that territory as well. I think Fiji really tried to milk that one. The referee says no. And also, we've got the Islands cricket team is about as good as their league team, says Cooper Cronk. And there's also, I guess, pretty decent overall then. That's going to be kicked in behind. Waiting for this one to come up. Fiji take it beautifully. And it's going to be going back for the penalty. Karavalu. Okay, it's going to be a handover. They had their 5 phases. It was an interesting set of 5 for the Fijians. They kind of went with the high kick at one point. It's near the end. He took it beautifully, but then hello. My PC has really been playing up lately. Epilepsy warning. I'm currently flashing for some reason. It's very weird. I think my PC is about to combust, which is very unfortunate because I don't know whether or not I can get a new one yet. 2 minutes in, Fiji have got themselves the position. I'm just waiting for it to cut out again, eh? As I says Amelia. And there as well. Now going forward. Currently, second phase, the Fijians in good field territory, about 20 meters out, I believe they are now. Ball on the outside, good ball. Taruva gets close, and also Houston, we have a problem, says Finton. I believe we're back now, which is good news, but yeah, it's really weird how often now technical difficulties are coming up on the Kiwi Lads live streams. Not what you want when you're close to the international rugby circuit. Now another big run. 2 minutes 40 through this contest. Fiji doing nicely. 41 meters through now. We're back across. Now the short ball. Thought about passing it. Gives it off to Kakao, who now goes for the grubber. It's the in-goal area. It's a very small in-goal area. Has gone dead. And now Italy will be able to have their tap from 20 metres out. So do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, are we back? Are we back running smoothly? I hope we are, because we've still got another live stream a little bit later on in the evening. Now 0 for the Italians. That's a good shot on the number 4, Natoli. Driven backwards in the tackle there by Kikau and Sivu. 6 again, took too long for Sivu to get off him. And Italy now going to have themselves another set restart. It is a Puri there, and all good mate says Dart Crazy. And there's us. So yeah, it seems very weird how often it is cutting in and out lately. But hopefully we do get through these live streams that we have got today and over the weekend. And then maybe we're going to look at other alternatives by the time we get to the international rugby, which is only just around the corner as well. These are the most dangerous team of the ICC events since 2015, once again showing that by destroying Australia in the opening T20 World Cup game. Although don't get too confident too early. It's what New Zealand did last time, and they got beaten in the final by Australia. So you never know what's going to happen up until that final is finished. So New Zealand at this stage, they need to be careful not to get too excited early. Those warm-up games were a bit of a deciding factor as well. Oh, just ripped into touch there, the Italian, nowhere to go. Lepori just gets absolutely biffed by Sivu. Italy, their backline at the moment is looking pretty crispy with the way that they've been able to get the draw and pass going. But Lepori win here one-on-one with Sivu. You've got nowhere to go other than pretty much hope that he doesn't hit you too hard. And he pretty much grabbed him by the shirt, dragged him out onto that tough kind of carpeted turf as well. The ref is not having it today, says Ed Vogel there. Only 4 minutes through in this contest, and it will be Fiji's ball now. 20 minutes through. Just getting a little bit of an adjustment to one of the boots of the Fijian players. Hopefully this game, both sides avoid injury. We don't want to see anyone getting knocked out or getting themselves a serious leg injury. That sounded like we're going to have a 6 again. Yeah, the referee is very quick with those 6 again calls. The ref's not happy. He's just pretty much telling players off, and he's on a first-name basis as well with half of the players. I think Ryan King just got an absolute bollocking from him. Now, Fiji up to the halfway line now, continuing to use those big forwards that they have got for themselves. Kami Tha that time getting it. Now, Fiji off to the right-hand side. Good run forward. Still making plenty of meters. It's those post contacts that seem to be really doing the job for Fiji at the moment. Yeah, this referee sounds like he'd be great at probably teaching primary school students. He'd probably scare them all, but still be... I don't think I've heard this guy referee a game before. Big bump off for the Fijians. Going to be held up. So that's going to be 5th and final when they hand over. That's only because that tournament was a farce. Everyone that won the toss and batted last one, Australia were the only side. Never lost the toss, hence why they won, says Cooper Cronk. Oh, you think there's some conspiracies going on in the competition? I mean, at the end of the day, there's still a long way to go in the competition. New Zealand, I want to see them win it, but they've got some tough opposition. I mean, England have just pretty much destroyed Afghanistan. That seems to be the wording we're using at the moment. But they have been doing very nicely overall, just marching their way to an easy title. And Afghanistan are not an easy side to beat, we have seen in the past as well. And also won't get used to or used by this rugby league English commentators, says Ed. Yeah, I guess you'd be that used to hearing the Australians from the NRL that these guys probably sound a little bit out of place. I know that they do a bit of the Super League. Oh, there, nice run forward from Italy, finding the offload. And that one was Sassino. Now moving up to halfway. Kami Tha makes the tackle on Robertson. Going off to the right-hand side. This referee's going to have no voice by the end of it. Almost a 40-20 attempt there. Going to go back. Nicely taken by Taruva. Now trying to make his way through. Only 10 metres out from his own line. The Fijians. 7 minutes through. At the moment, Sivo with the big bump off. That did not look too flash for the Italian defender. Now still driving. Fiji making, I believe, around 70 metres 2 or 3 times throughout the early stages of this matchup already. Back across. Bit of a spin from Fiji. Not able to get through that time was Taki Tuimua. Now, some of these Fijian names, they will take a little bit to get to roll off the tongue the way that we want them to. But that is just a part of the learning curve. Only 39 metres made this time by Fiji. Now going back into the pocket and kick downfield. It's like listening to Australian commentating a soccer game. Weird, says Ed Vogel there. That's going to be a big mistake down the back by Bolselli. And now I believe Fiji are going to have themselves a massive opportunity quite close to the Italian line. He's looking straight into the sun, which is never easy, but it's hit him on the shoulder. The worst thing is it hasn't just gone down, it's gone off it and straight into touch, about 5 or so meters out from the Italian line. So, yeah, the mistake from Luke Polselli, I believe it is. Now, 8 minutes through, Fiji from 10 meters out. It's going to be long. Did he take too long? Oh, no, that was just the whistle from the referee saying get back underway. I thought for a second we were going to have a Papua New Guinea Tonga situation again, how they took too long to take their set. Now Fiji backline Kakao reaches. And I believe that's going to be the try for Viliami Kakao. Referee's going to go upstairs just to take this one. Afternoon all, says Richard. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. We've already had our technical difficulties of the stream, so hopefully from here we've got smooth sailing all the way through to the URC, which is taking place at 7:30 a.m. Cardiff versus the Stormers. That's going to be a pretty good game of rugby. And at the time of that game, we're also going to keep you updated with New Zealand versus Jamaica as our other one. But I would say Kakao, they're just checking to see whether or not this is all in one movement or whether it is slightly a different one. Okay, so he's stretched out. It's whether or not he is considered as held, which is the big thing. I would say he's held. Yeah, no, that's probably a try. I would say Kakao, I think he's been able to go over nice enough. You're allowed one stretch out, which is what Viliami Kakao's been able to do. Fiji by 18. Says Skipper Kronk there. Right. We're going to see the big screen from an interesting angle. And it's very zoomed in. It's a kazoo. 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Try. There we go. Has been given as the try for the Fiji. And so Viliami Kakao gets us underway. The very nice try for Fiji. And that was all off that kick downfield. Fiji, they had a little bit of luck with the way the Italian was able to take it. Or maybe it was just strategic with the fact he had to look straight into the sun. But 8.5 minutes through this matchup, Fiji get their first, similar to what we saw actually up against Australia. They were the first team to score, but then after that, Australia scored themselves about 7 unanswered tries. So Italy, they'll be aware of that and know that they aren't out of this contest as of yet. Italy should be able to score at least one try for halftime, I reckon, says Ed. Yeah, their backline seems to be, I'm just thinking, overall, I'm trying to decide whether or not I'd take their rugby league backline or their rugby union backline in terms of which has the silkier skills. I'd say the rugby league. Overall, they seem to just have those quick hands that then create the opportunities in the back line. Fiji are putting in some big hits early, which was to be expected this point of the match because they will be certainly fired up. But the kick going to be lined up by Wakeham, and it's gone over. So that is going to make the score 6-0 in favour of Fiji after the 9.5 minutes. Italy will be looking to fire back relatively quickly, but Viliami Kakao does beautifully there. Fiji, though, when you're only about 5 meters out from the line, it's always going to be a struggle to try and stop them. The Italians, they did relatively well with the one-on-one defense, but it was just a little bit too late to try and stop them there for Viliami Kakao. I think they're going to probably not kick straight off to Sivo, I would think, if you're going strategically. Instead, they go to the smaller man, and now it is going to be back into the hands of the big midfielder, Villamai. And Kakao off to the Bulldogs nest here. While Appy to the West Tigers, says Ed Vogel. There's also a couple big changes coming up. Oh, that's Sivo again. He's just trying to take the head off the young Italian Parata here. It seems to be the size advantage is definitely Sivo's way. He knows that, so he's just going to run it straight. I think Italy will do better than people think. And if you're living in Ireland, Munster play Leinster at 5:30 Irish time, which is 3 hours from now Irish time. There's Richard in there. It's a big shame, because the game between the Sharks and Ulster that was going to be taking place at the same time has been postponed. But Spark haven't changed it so that they're going to show Leinster versus Munster. So we can't actually see it in New Zealand, which is a big shame. It would be a very entertaining game now. Back into the pocket. 55 metres game by Fiji throughout that set of 6. And that one's gone out on the full. Bit of a mistake now from Fiji. And Italy are going to be able to take their tap and go. Like they've said, it was just that little bit of extra pressure from Ryan King, the man who got told off by the ref earlier on. He's using his angry ref voice. He's still using that angry ref voice. Maybe that's just his voice. Now a big run forward from Italy. Kamikami makes the tackle on Natoli. 11 minutes through at the moment, going short side, a little bit of a miscommunication there, and it's going to be picked up, and this is going to be an easy try for Fiji. Just jumps on the ball when it was loose, and that is going to be a try for the captain. Kevin Nainama has done beautifully, and that is going to be the try for Fiji. It should be an easy conversion in the process as well, but it was just that little bit of the miscommunication, like I mentioned, from Italy. They were looking to go out their back line, didn't work out, and Fiji just pounced on that chance. Which current league player do you think will shine at Union? Says Ed. Ooh, current league player. We're talking just NRL or in general around the whole world? I might have to isolate it to just NRL just because or else then it might be very tricky to just pick one. And I guess it depends on what team you're slotting them into, because a few of these Pacific Island players could certainly do well at rugby union if they were given that opportunity, just because sometimes that talent pool is deep, but it's not quite as deep as someone like a New Zealand, or for one of these Italian players, maybe they could transition into rugby union. I feel like it's one of those Australian guys, though. Nathan Cleary, I'm not too sure how he'd go at Union, just because he seems to go very well at league. Travojevic, I would have said up until last season, he just didn't quite seem to have that same impact he would have liked. Tedesco might be getting a little bit old for Union at the moment. It's quite a tricky one, really. Munster might not be bad for the Union side of things. I feel like I've got a short list of this current international Australian side who I think could transfer over. For the New Zealanders, I feel like if you were to pick anyone, it probably would have been Roger Tuivasa. He's done that, but now he's considering going back to the NRL. Kicked off line by Italy, 12-0 at the moment for the Fijians. Once again, the ball is going to be hit up by Valame. And also 31-10, Edinburgh with 10 minutes left, 12 even, says Richard. And there as well. So, yeah, nice work from Edinburgh. And a couple of the games for the URC, like I mentioned, have been postponed. The Lions game and the Sharks game, both actually getting taken away against Glasgow. And Ulster due to gastro actually going through the camps, which is not good news for the sides. Almost out too long there from area. Now around the side, Fiji up to their fourth tackle currently, 14 minutes in. It's an exciting contest, and Fiji have got off to the dream start. They have got more points, I believe, in this game than they had in their last match up against Australia already. But Kamikamitaa has another crash up. That's going to be fifth and final. They made 54 metres. Now kick deep, using the sun to their advantage. Very good strategy. Nicely taken, though, by Mason. He's forced into touch, was he? Yes, he was. And now, because of it, Fiji once again are going to have themselves possession inside of the Italian half. This is great work. Anytime that ball goes up high. See, the thing is, he would have wanted to sacrifice just going down to ground. He wasn't able to, though, because he was jumped on straight away by Kara Walevu, I believe it was, who got straight on him. Stopped him from finding any chance of grounding. His name was almost too long for the back of his shirt, I saw there. They had to kind of squeeze it in at the end. And now, another opportunity for Fiji. Good run forward from Wakeham this time. In fact, no, sorry. This time it was actually the number 3. Sims over the line. Another try for Fiji. And at the moment, looking like a little bit of a runaway for the Fijians. The way we are currently sitting. 3 tries already in 15 minutes. Fiji Bati by 30. And it does seem like they've got a very good opportunity of doing just that. But do teams not bring their own cook with them, says Richard. Well, it's interesting that both sides have had it happen. Definitely because they're playing in different parts of South Africa. But that try was scored by Kara Walevu, the man who initially put in the big hit out on the wing, now reaping the rewards of getting himself a nice try in the process as well. In fact, no, they put up the wrong name on the board. They did just put it up, but it is actually going to be the number 14, Tagi Tuimua, who was able to score that try rather than the number 24. But yeah, it was both sides in transit just seemed to have something go wrong because, yeah, Ulster and Glasgow, not even coming from the same country. So I don't know where the connection is. Well, my arm's see-through again. That's unfortunate. Although you can see how nice of an evening it is in the background here. It's looking like a pretty good afternoon over there. 16-0 after 16 minutes, though. Still with the kick to come for Fiji. This is getting more and more one-sided. Brandon Wakeham lines up that kick. That one's gone over. I'm trying to remember what my prediction was. Did I say Fiji by 16? That was going to be very wrong. unless Italy start firing back, but it doesn't seem like they have quite got that in them at the moment. Fiji just every time there's a little mistake from the Italians, the Fiji Buddy jump on it and have been able to score 3 tries pretty much off 3 mistakes from Italy. Right, 16 and a half minutes through. Italy need to find a counter to this in the game. Like I mentioned, if Fiji win this game by 20 plus points, really sets them up for a great third game up against the Scottish, which could then carry them over to the quarterfinals of the Rugby League World Cup. The only way that that would change, that is if the result continues going this way, is if Australia were beaten by Italy by enough of a margin that it creates a little bit of doubt in a Fijian's mind. Ground forward, but that's a huge ask. And Sean Stevenson just got the call from the NRL Dolphins, a coach to consider joining league. He even seems interested in the offer. I think he should take it considering he hasn't been on the All Blacks radar call-up. Yeah, I mean, Sean Stevenson would be a pretty good rugby league player, I would think. He's got that skill of a winger. I'd assume they'd play him on the wing anyway. Yeah, for the Dolphins, interesting. So the Dolphins, they are taking part in the next NRL comp, aren't they? It's not the next year after, is it? It's this year that they are going to be, or sorry, well, I guess next year, the next competition, I should say. Yeah, it will be interesting to see how the new franchise goes in the competition. Another good run from Fiji. That will be fifth and final. And once again, they've found themselves making around that 60-metre mark. Will England beat France this evening, the Rugby League World Cup? I think so. England in their first game up against Samoa really put a statement out there saying, we've come to play and we want to win it at home. France are a dangerous side also. But yeah, I will say that France beating Greece by about that 20 points compared to England beating Samoa by 54 makes me think that England should have momentum for that game, and they might win it by 20 plus as well. And their contest now passed back across, big shot there, put on by Corbin Sims for the Fijians. Only Italy trying to drive out of their own half. It'd be tricky to do, though. It was a nice run from Natoli. Makes a couple extra metres in the process there. Now, Italy once again going around the side. Was Parata decided to have a little crack. Fifth and final, 37 metres gained in that one. Now going for the kick in behind. Looks like Fiji going to clean it up quite nicely with the boot. And now going to be back available for Fiji to try and make those 50 metres again. Yes, 2023, half of their players are Melbourne Storms, I believe, but I reckon it'll be another Bulldogs 2.0, says Ed Vogel there. We are hoping to do a lot more of the rugby league this year as well than we got to last year. There were a lot of overlaps with Super Rugby, but I believe there were more games that I could have done of NRL. Like I could have been doing the Thursday night fixtures, but I just kept on, I guess, missing them, unfortunately, with the schedules the way that it's set. But I'm hoping this year we will be able to have plenty of them taking place as well. How nice work there from Fiji. Moving up to their fourth phase. Oh, rush defense from Fiji. It almost worked out. Oh, sorry, from Italy with the rush defense. Robinson quickly recycled. Fifth and final. The draw and pass. The pass was not quite the way that they needed it, though, but I believe that's actually going to be a penalty. Is it? No, it's a handover. Never mind. And let's go Fiji, says Nate. And there as well. I hope you are doing well, mate. Yeah, I do see that the Wi-Fi once again is trying to play up, which hopefully is not going to be the case for very long. So I may be frozen currently for some of you guys. Should be back in a very short moment. Moretti has gone on the field. That is for Sasino now. 20 minutes into the contest. And the Fijians, once again, are going to be defending. But Italy, they haven't looked too bad when they get that ball moving around. It's just trying to hold on to it for long enough to really get that opportunity. Nathan Brown, the skipper, now going off to the short side. Once again, Parata sees a little bit of a gap. Doesn't quite work out for him. He's going to be held. Now off to the side. I think the Italian was asking the referee for the penalty. The referee pretty much said to him, you can't just stay down on the ground and wait for me to give one. 31 metres gained by Italy. Now kicking it up high. Not looking into the sun here for Fiji, so should be easier to take this one. Nice diving catch from the number one for Taruva. And also, let's go Hamish, says Nate. And there as well. And also Hamish today, Black Cat slashed Aussies by 89 runs of the World Cup. I don't know why you didn't stream that match. Please stream World Cup matches, says Coding. Pretty much simplest answer is copyright. Unfortunately, the ones who copyright struck us last year are still going around copyright striking smaller channels. So we can't really afford to get a copyright strike for the Cricket World Cup matches. So unfortunately, we're probably going to have to miss the Cricket World Cup due to that one channel. And then after the Cricket World Cup, when they decide that they're going to take another break, because that seems to be what they do, then we'll get to stream cricket again. But yeah, until then, it's just yeah, we can't really risk it. They just take you straight down. And then you got to wait about 3 or 4 weeks before YouTube actually take the strike away. Now, nice run forward from Fiji, or nice run forward from Fiji, I should say. 40 metres out from the line. Nice short ball to Sims. Shut down pretty quickly by Robinson. Couple of those big forwards, Santi involved. Now Sims once again going off to the left-hand side. Now Kakao gets the short ball. Almost found the offload that he would have been after, but I believe he never had eyes for it. Instead, was just going to be hitting the line. Oh, Kakao having a bit of a push and a shove, and here come a little bit of off-the-ball stuff. And also, I'm praised to Hamish patience by explaining the cricket copyright drama over and over again, says Ed. And there's yeah. I mean, every time I have to explain it, it just makes me realize how annoying it is that like they're able to do it and YouTube don't give them any punishment. Like we got copyright struck last year by the same channel. Nothing happened to them. They're still copywriting people. And it seems to just be that because they're the big fish in the pond, like YouTube are like, well, we don't really mind because they make us the money anyway. So it's all good. And also, I think the Rugby League owners may look at their World Cup qualifying for 2025 World Cup. Too many runaway matches, says Richard. Yeah, there have been a lot of one-sided games throughout this competition. So whether or not they do something similar to maybe, or I was going to say maybe similar to what we see for the Cricket World Cup, but then we might get to the stage how the teams qualify, but then they have the runaway matches. I guess it's just as these lower sides develop more, maybe it's going to be a little bit less one-sided. Kakao has scored again, and Fiji in for their fourth now. That's going to make it 22-0 in favour of the Fiji Bati. Viliami Kakao, he scores his second try of the contest. He's been looking very dangerous throughout the NRL and also now at international level. Fiji have the potential of being able to get themselves, I would say, I want to say 60 points here if Italy aren't careful. They just seem to not quite be able to shut it down the way that they were able to up against the Scottish. But Kakao just drives the head low. Robinson, and also I believe Lapori was the other man who just wasn't quite able to stop him. Fiji going again. And now with the kick to come, going to be trying to make it a little bit more one-sided. Kakao, he was fired up just before. He did have a bit of a push and a shove with one of the Italian players. Then from there, he pretty much just went and ran over the top of them, scored the try. Says thanks very much for coming. But currently 24 minutes through this fixture, ladies and gentlemen. Fiji, unless something hugely drastic happens, I think we're going to see a Fijian win here, which will well and truly open up Pool B for the rest of the Rugby League World Cup. Looking through at how it sits currently, Australia at the top of the bunch. They are sitting there on 118 for their points differential. Currently, the way that it is sitting, Fiji, they would still be sitting in third. They would be on 2 points if they win this game by this margin, and they would be minus 12 compared to the +2 of Italy. So pretty much for Fiji to be able to qualify higher than Italy in this current stage, after the match, for them to be in second rather than third, they will have to win this game by 36 or more points, or somewhere around there anyway. And there's a chance that they may be able to do so because it's currently not looking like anything else is really changing for Italy in this fixture. And also we've got there, where is George? Says Ed. So currently it is 2, or in fact it's 3 a.m. here in New Zealand. So George will be missing for this one, but I can tell you tomorrow/today, I realize now that we're at 3 a.m., he is actually coming around and we have got a video that we're filming for the Kiwi Lads gaming channel. Now, it's weird because it's not gaming related, but there's something to do with something in there. It's a kitchen appliance video where one will be used and one might get destroyed in the process. Because it's George, so you never know what's going to happen pretty much. Wait, Black Caps can play cricket? Oosh, thought New Zealand cricket went into retirement. Says Nathan there as well. So do a lot of Black Caps fans, but luckily getting themselves the big win over Australia in that first match of the Cricket World Cup. I'd like to test it out on the Sport Channel, but I feel like if there was one to test it out on the Sport Channel, it would have been that first matchup. And then if they copyright struck us, I guess, throughout the Rugby League World Cup and Rugby Union, we wouldn't really have a backup. It's tricky when you got those big channels trying to take down the little ones, I guess you could say. And I have a feeling it's going to be New Zealand versus England final in the T20 World Cup, League World Cup, and Women's Rugby World Cup. And like example, Scotland beaten 84-0 and showing that should happen and no sports full stop, says Richard. Yeah, it's a bit too one-sided, isn't it? Oh, nice run from Fiji. Once again, Kurisau gets back up to his feet, tries to go again. Parata makes the tackle on him, his opposite number. Now they're up to their 4. Fiji going off to the right-hand side. Good rush defense. And now, right. Last phase for Fiji. 47 meters gained off those ones. Now to the right-hand side. Sivo looking for the option. In fact, it's going to be Taruva instead. Tries to go around. Little grubber. Doesn't work out. Italy able to regather for themselves there. Currently still sitting 24-0 down though. Fiji. It just seems to be that their defence has improved drastically since the last game up against Australia, although you could say it's just the calibre of the opposition that they find themselves up against. I think I don't know whether I underestimated Fiji for this game or overestimated Italy. Feel like it was a bit of both. I said Fiji by 16. I didn't expect them to come out and pretty much do what they've done to Italy in the first 27 minutes, though. Now it's going to be passed back across. Italy going to the right. In fact, that was the left. Close. Had a 50-50 chance of getting it right. Now it's gone right. It's going to be kicked in behind, but Fiji are just playing a majority of this first half inside of Italian territory. Now charging back at the line, trying to go straight through. Nice run from Kara Walevu. Now back to the left. Fiji, the draw and pass is looking very nice indeed. Almost through again for Sevo. And who won the women's Aussie final this morning? Says Richard. The women's Aussie final this morning. Women's Aussie final. Was that in the AFL, was it? Were they playing the AFL grand final? Or have I got the wrong one? Richard, do let me know what competition. I will try my best. Yeah, I know that. Oh, actually, if you're talking about Aussie rules, I'll have a quick look, see what I can find out for you. It's going to be offloaded back. Now, Wakeman has got it again. Cacao, ball on the outside. Nice work. Another offload. The Naomi Cacao looked for the offload. Sivu got it, but it did say, well, the ref did say that it went slightly forward there. Now, 28 minutes through. Italy, once again, inside of their own half. They are going to have themselves a tough set trying to drive out of this own half. I mean, I would say to them that they need a 40-20, but I don't think Fiji are going to give it up that easy for them, unfortunately. They just need something to change the momentum. A penalty going against Fiji, a nice line break, something along those lines. For the women's AFL final, we'll have a look. It was yesterday. The women's AFL final. What does 1.1 mean? Oh, okay, so the final yesterday and the women's final was 61 points to 7 in favour of Brisbane. So pretty one-sided. Unfortunately for the AFL, both of their finals, men and women, have both been extremely one-sided. I think you're alone there, mate. Says Kipper Kronk. And there as well, but currently 29 minutes through. Going off to the right-hand side. Nice work here for Italy. Short bot pass. A little bit of a spin there. Kurisau makes a good tackle. Now, though, Italy into the half of Fiji. This has been their best set, I would say, of the half almost. Now looking to use the ball, and they've actually gone for an offload here, which is something we only saw in the first 6 minutes for Italy. Now available once again. Santi rolls it back. Looks like they do want to try and use this one, make a few extra meters. It's grab it downfield. Good control by Fiji. Great work from Kara Walevu. Been able to clean it up absolutely brilliantly. I'll drive them forward quite nicely. Once again for Fiji, they seem to be making 50-plus meters each time that they decide they want to try and have a run. Hardly actually seen Kurisau throughout this game. I think he's just been really, I guess, doing the behind-the-scenes stuff good and then leaving it to the big forwards, which are very easy to get, I guess, slightly locked in on just with how many meters they are able to make. But that time it was actually Nuku Bawai, who's recently come off the interchange bench, kicked downfield. Wakeham under a bit of pressure. Has he kicked it into touch on the full again? Yes, he has. And that's just that little bit of extra pressure we're seeing from Brian King each time that they do try and put that extra pressure on. Now, it is going to be another ball back to Italy. This is their best chance of the half, and I feel like they do need to make the absolute most of it. The UFC, I should also mention, will be starting up relatively soon, I believe. I accidentally put YFC, and that's Youth for Christ is what that came up is. The UFC is a bit different to that, I would say. They punch each other in the face. The preliminary card starts at 3:30 a.m. So, yeah, that's going to be going on during the second half. So, what we will do is we'll keep you updated with what's happening in that one as well. Now, short ball from Italy. Here we go. Italia. What's this going to be? Okay, don't do that. It's a high shot, I believe. And, it might be a bit cynical on Nathan Brown. Right, we're going to have another look at this. Ooh, that is quite late from Sadradgu with the cheap shot. Unfortunately, he might be finding himself in the bin for the next 10 minutes here. What do we got? Looks like the captain, though, Nathan Brown, is staying down a bit longer. The first chance for Italy. Play the ball in the opposition 20 meters. We haven't actually seen Italy play it once. And we're not going to yet because that is a late shot. Okay. So the commentators are saying that it's going to be minimum yellow card at this stage. This could be a momentum shifter here. Like they're saying, Sagragu, he had time to pull out of that challenge. Daniela Sagragu. Is he going off the field for 10 minutes here? Looks like they're having a bit of a discussion. They're deciding how late it was. If it was higher, I would say could have been looking at a red, but because it was round the rib section, I think it's going to be just the 10 minutes that he finds himself off the field for at this point in time. Just a penalty. A lucky man. The two commentators were giving it as a yellow, but Sadradgu has managed to stay out there on the field. 31 minutes through another opportunity. Here's an idea. The top 8 of this World Cup goes straight through to 2025. Everyone else play each other once. And there is your World Cup, says Richard. Oh, so you're saying, I mean, it would be great, I think, or some sort of qualifying system like you mentioned. Although the only problem with that, with the top 4 from this side, or sorry, the top 8 from this competition, is that it's so far down the line with it being 4 years away. So whether or not maybe you look at the World Rugby rankings for Rugby League in a couple years' time and then decide, similar to what we see for Rugby Union World Cup, kind of combine that with the other side. They'll kick him behind. Nicely cleaned up at the back for Taruva, and also keep the flag flying. Fiji, says Asefu. And what is your score prediction for this game, Asefu? Do let me know. Fiji currently looking very strong throughout the first 32 minutes of the contest. Like this. And like this as well. Now back across to the song. Don't go in. It's the comment from the referee there. It looks like there's a little bit. No, it's not an injury. It's just a bit of a boot adjustment in the back for Fiji. That time, 45 meters gained off their 5 tackles. Going for the kick him behind, going low instead of high. A different tactic from Fiji. Now cleaned up by Porcelli. Going to be tackled nicely. 25 meters out from the line. The Kiwis may put 100 points on Jamaica later, says Cooper Cronk there. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty one-sided game. I know that the game between Cardiff and the Stormers is going to be a lot closer. And I think that's why we've decided to do that game out of the 2 options and then also keep you updated with what is happening in that other matchup between New Zealand and Jamaica. There's also another game taking place, I believe, at around that time. That's going to be a nice run forward from Susino once again. Italy, though, they're starting to make a few more meters in the later stages of this first half. I think they had that 30 minutes at the start that really was tough on them. What have they decided there? It's going to be a forward pass against Italy, I believe. Or is it coming off the hand of the Italian? Geez, that's a good shot. He went flying in. Okay. It's going to be an Italian scrum feed now by the looks of it. And King is going to be going off the field for a head injury assessment. And that is why Susino is back out on the field for Italy. And promises Cooper. And there as well, says Ed Vogel. All captains challenge. Okay. What have they decided here? Who is challenging, though, I think is the bigger question. I'd assume Italy are the team challenging, but I thought it was their scrum feed. So If Fiji have done this one, that would be interesting because I thought their player's hand did touch the ball. Right, we're going to see what happens with this captain's challenge, ladies and gentlemen. Currently 3:10 a.m. New Zealand time. This game started at 2:30 or so, so we're not doing too badly for time. Right, they want to check this one. For me, there's no knock-on from Italy, but there is a loose ball. The big question is whether or not it has touched the hand of a Fijian player in the tackle process. Challenge is successful. So I believe Italy were the team that challenged. It has to be because it's a clear knock-on from Fiji. Oh, sorry. I've got that round the wrong way. It's a clear knock-on by Italy, apparently. Okay. I see. I'll just leave that one as it is. I'm not sure where the knock-on is. So we're still in the hands of Santi, but it's going to be a Fijian scrum now. Top 8 automatically qualified for Rugby League World Cup 2025. Good idea. And there as well says Nate. So it would be quite cool to see if that was something that they decide to bring in, just because, like we mentioned, or like it was mentioned earlier on in the chat as well, you don't want runaway games every game of a cup. You know, you want some close games. That's why the game between Cook Islands and Tonga, or sorry, not Cook Islands, Papua New Guinea and Tonga was so great. Same with Wales and Cook Islands. That seems to be the evenly matched pool at the moment, which is great news because the closer the games are, the more it intrigues people. We'll have the Tri Nation series, Australia, England, All Blacks. The rest play off the top 3 of that tournament, join Australia, England, and the All Blacks. Right, that is going to be a knock on that time. No one's going to be captains challenging that one. Kakao went off to Kurisau, and then it was slapped from the Italian. Went straight down, and now Fiji once again going to have another scrum feed. This is near the end of the first half. It's a danger time for Italy if they do not get this right in the next little while. A moment, we're going to go like this. I'm just going to have a quick look and see what other games of the Gallagher Premiership are starting up around the same time, because I know that there were 3 a.m. kickoff games. Saracens, I think, were playing in their game. The Premiership's been a little bit rejuggled, I guess you could say, with all of the changes we've seen to the top teams. But yeah, it's currently Saracens versus the Exeter Chiefs, Bath versus Northampton, and that is the only 2 games that we have got there. Gloucester versus London Irish is actually a pretty good game last night. I do see from that scoreline. It's like a little bit of a blood bin here for Italy. It's on the right side of the face. As we look at it, the left side, if you're looking at it from his point of view, there's a big yawn for myself. But yeah, the next one that we have got on the channel, I believe, is the URC game at 7:30 a.m. Munster versus Cardiff. Then alongside that, we've got another game that is going to be taking place tomorrow night. And that game, I believe, is going to be the game between... Who's the next game that we are doing? Greece versus Samoa, I think, is almost the next game. And we've also got a video coming out tomorrow afternoon, or today afternoon. Time zones are fun. Yeah, today afternoon, we're going to be having a video of me and George playing Rugby League Live 4, Samoa versus Greece, which is going to take a lot to censor. I still haven't finished the censoring process. That's how many times George swears throughout that matchup, but it's going to be going up on the channel this afternoon. Now, Fiji only sitting 10 metres out from the line, trying to find that offload. Bit of a juggle there, but being able to regather quite nicely. Now still available for the Fijians. Seems like Italy, they have been better in the last 15 minutes or so, but they cannot afford to allow the Fijians to score right now, or else it will definitely take the momentum away. Kakao almost got his hands on it. Italy once again able to slap that ball down and stop it from going wide. Kurisau's not too happy. There it is, Kakao. He just didn't quite get his hands on it. Instead, it was well done by Parata to be able to stretch out the arm and just get enough of the fingertip. Munster versus Leinster this weekend, not Cardiff Hamish. And as I says, Richard, so it is Munster, Leinster, and then the game a little bit later on in the day is Cardiff versus the Stormers. Is the next matchup that is kicking off at about 7:30 a.m., I believe it is. And yeah, the couple other games getting taken away, unfortunately, that was due to the postponement that we did see. One moment, we're going to go here And we're going to go here. Yeah, so those other games haven't been postponed as of yet, which is great news. And then also the Dragons play the Ospreys at 3 a.m. on Monday morning. Now, Fiji, once again, able to retain their own scrum. 4 minutes left in this first half. Lucas just has been told. Don't know where Lucas was, but he wasn't on the line like the referee wanted him to be. Now, Italy having a lure and 3 defenders there to just make the tackle on one big flying Fijian. Now going off to the short side. Nice run forward. Half a metre short of the line there for another one of the flying Fijians. Gummy Tha now goes off to the left-hand side. Slinging it wide. Kurisao actually decides to go himself. He's gone straight through, and Kurisao now adds himself to the try scorer sheet. That is in 36 and a half minutes. Through this matchup, it's another try for Fiji. Let's go, Fiji, says Nate. And there as well. Yeah, they've been looking very strong throughout this matchup. And it doesn't seem like anything in the second half is really going to change for Italy. Fiji just seem to be running away with it too much. Getting too many opportunities. Kurisao talking about the fact that he could have offloaded it, but he decided instead to go for the gap himself. It was just a nice step. Poor defense, unfortunately. Robinson just let him drift through. And it did mean that he did have that gap. And also that rush defense from Natoli backfired. Santi wasn't going to be able to get him. Kurisao picked his gap beautifully, made the most of it. And Fiji, they've still got 3 minutes left of this first half. Maybe we could see another try just around the corner for the flying Fijians. He just breaks through. I've just realised we've hardly seen Sevo. We saw him for the first 10 to 15 minutes. Is he still out on the field, I guess, is the big question. Because if so, similar to what we saw for the Parramatta Eels throughout the NRL final games, he's just kind of disappeared, unfortunately, which is kind of not what you want. You want to see him about throughout the matchup, but maybe he's just saving himself out on the wing, ready to absolutely power over someone when he does get the ball. The lineup kick from Wakeham goes over. And now 38 minutes through, 28 points becomes 30, and 30 points to nil for Fiji over Italy. Now, the commentators are saying it seems about right for that scoreline. Kurisao, though, very nicely done to be able to cut himself back up the middle, straight through. Does get a big hug from Taruvu as soon as he does manage to run over. Sorry, Taruva. And the November International Series this November will be fantastic. 4 matches every Saturday and 1 on Sunday. 21 games in total. I can't wait. Says Richard in there. Yeah, there are a lot of international games. I guess the 4 on Saturday and 1 on Sunday is probably not including some of those slightly lower ranked teams as well in the process. I'm going to go down because I believe there's a few other lower games that we want to cover on the channel as well. You know, Ireland A versus All Blacks 15, still going to be a game that we are hoping to cover. You've got Italy, Samoa. That's going to be a great game of rugby. See how they both match up. Scotland, Fiji. Oh, those overlap. Why would they do that to us? Weird that they would go Samoa and Italy playing at the same time as Scotland versus Fiji. I'm going to have to decide what game to do unless I find myself a co-commentator for one of those matches, perhaps. Might be the best bet there. Then alongside that, they've got England, Argentina, Georgia, Uruguay also going to be playing. Yeah, Fiji play Ireland at the same time as Australia play Italy. Why have they done that? That seems really weird that they would make the games overlap. Italy play South Africa at the same time as Wales play Georgia. And also Scotland play Argentina at that same time. Who did the scheduling for that? Did you see the Bulls beat Benetton 22-44 in Treviso? I did. Very impressive performance from the Bulls as they continue trying to build momentum. Now Kakao tries to find the offload. It's gone through the hands. Goes out to Sevo now. Passes back. Currently, they've only got 19 seconds left of this first half. Now Kakao keeps it alive again. Finds another offload. Back across Wakeham. Goes one more. Now going off to the far side. It's going to be another offload from Fiji. Just trying to keep it alive for a little bit longer. Down the wing, not a lot of space at all. Another offload. Fiji making 70 metres. It's fifth and final. There's the siren. So all they need to do is just try and finish this one off. Great run forward. Fiji. Oh, he slipped, but he gets back up. Finds the pass on the inside. Italy able to clean up just. Wow. That's going to be the end of the half. What an end to the half it was, though. Fiji, about 20 offloads all in that process of trying to get the one last try at the end of the first 40, but that will be the end of the first half, 30-0 in favour of Fiji. Yeah, I hadn't actually looked at what times those games had taken place for rugby union internationals yet. Up until that stage, I knew a couple of the games like the All Blacks, South Africa, their type games, but making Samoa and Fiji play at the same time seems very brutal because they're two relatively passionate fan bases who will want to watch both of their games respectively, won't they? They'll want to watch Samoa play just to keep an eye on one of the other Pacific nations, then also watch their flying Fijians in the process as well. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of decision making for that stage. Kiwi lads now hiring, I guess, rugby commentary. 30-0 the moment Fiji over the Italians. And the worst thing is because it's the November internationals, it means it's all in the middle of the night. So I can't convince my mum and dad to do a 1 a.m. live stream like they did for some Super Rugby a little while ago when we did the sevens alongside them. Yeah, the first 40 minutes of this game, one-sided, I think is the best way of describing it. Italy, they haven't really had much of a chance at all to get themselves out there and show off what they can do. They have one opportunity, and hope all as well going to watch England versus France live. Says Rugby Itch. Well, hopefully it is a very good game, Rugby Itch. We were just talking about all of the overlaps in the rugby union scene for the November internationals. I was saying I may need a co-commentator. Of course, in the past, you have found yourself on the channel doing some, I think you actually did the Champions Cup semi-final, if I'm not wrong, La Rochelle versus someone. Was it Leinster? We had you on the channel for. Maybe there's an opportunity in the future as well. Can't believe 2 games were postponed between the Sharks and Holstein Lions in Glasgow. Look more like they are afraid of the South African teams rather than just a stomach bug, says Yanri now. I mean, it could be a combination. You probably don't want to get hit big by a South African side if you've got a bit of a dodgy stomach, do you? It probably won't end well for either side, really. You don't really want to, don't want to see anything slipping out. But currently looking at the stats for that first half, playing the ball 84 times, an extra 40 times, almost double for Fiji over Italy. The complete sets, 20 compared to the 9 incomplete sets. We've seen 5 incomplete from Italy, just the 3 incomplete from the Fijians. Looking through it, total meters gained almost 1,000 for Fiji in that first half, 930, 356 for Italy throughout their matches. So that is a bit of a shame that they haven't been able to get themselves a huge amount of meters there. Average meters gained 7 for Fiji, 5 for Italy, which actually isn't too bad overall, but they've had to make more than 100 more tackles in that first half, 205 compared to 93 of Fiji. More than happy to help. Sign me up, says Rugby Itch and there as well. So yeah, we might have multiple streams all going at the same time. It's going to be like a Kiwi Lad sports bar over here. Those internationals are because Italy have all their games at 1 p.m. Irish time. The low-ranked team play early afternoon, high-ranked team late evening. Big matches late evenings, all for TV, says Richard. But yeah, I see that they are showing all of the games in New Zealand. So they've got one, it's going to be on Sky Sport 1, the other's going to be on Sky Sport 2. And they've just kind of, I guess, thrown them all in. Luckily, the All Blacks 15 games aren't also taking place at that same time. It seems weird to have Ireland playing so early, though, up against Fiji. But I guess that's just the way that the cookie crumbles. And Fiji definitely will defeat Italy, says Donald. Yeah, at the moment, they're looking very strong. Question, Donald. Score prediction. How many will they beat the Italians by? Do let me know. At the moment, I feel like there's a good chance we see a 50-plus point win for Fiji throughout this matchup. I also see another overlap that I'm a little bit concerned about. The Women's World Cup. There's a chance that New Zealand in the Women's World Cup could be playing their quarterfinal at the exact same time as the first matchup between the All Blacks and Japan, which would be a big shame for the women's side of things, just because, like, they've already had a few other overlaps that we've seen for the Women's World Cup compared to the cricket, the A-League, rugby, everything else all going there. Are you going to do Stormers versus Cardiff? We certainly are. So that will be a 7:30 a.m. kickoff New Zealand time. So in 4 hours' time, we have got that one that we are doing on the channel. The choices were to either sleep for 3 hours before that game and then wake up and do it, or do some editing for 3 hours. I think that's the way that I'm going to go. I even considered going to the gym, but that just shows that I must be overtired if I'm considering a gym workout at 4:30 a.m. Fiji are breezing much better now. 30 points, Kangaroos sucking up all the oxygen against Fiji last game. Says Nate, and England have beaten Afghanistan by 5 wickets. So yeah, nice win for England over Afghanistan. And now I'm very curious because I feel like it's going to be pretty awesome seeing how England progress throughout this competition because they are dangerous. And I think they're going to have a good opportunity. I'm just watching how happy Addo Carr was in his score up against Scotland right at the end of that game. But yeah, I'm interested to see how England progress throughout the Cricket World Cup. Same with New Zealand now that they've got themselves a win. That's because Fiji are ranked low. TV think Ireland will beat Fiji well, says Richard. Although strategically, I think Fiji versus Ireland, I don't know about overall numbers compared to some of the other games. What about New Zealand? There's Atticus in there. Yeah, New Zealand getting themselves a big win over the Australians. Going to be pretty awesome to see how they go throughout the rest of the cup as well. But yeah, so at the same time, it's Italy versus Australia. To be honest, the better game out of those two for me is probably Ireland versus Fiji. I think it will be a better game than Italy versus Australia. So that may annoy some of our Australian viewers. I do apologise. But we might have someone covering that game as well for you lovely ladies and gentlemen, as the games are just overlapping. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I've just realised on Monday, the 14th of November, the Barbarians play the All Blacks 15 at the exact same time as Scotland play New Zealand. Who decided that? That seems very poor that you'd have New Zealand and New Zealand's B team playing at the exact same time against two different oppositions. It's really weird. Someone really didn't think about things when they were setting up the schedule. And also, you will be doing live streams of the Cricket World Cup. I really wanted to, but unfortunately, last year we ended up getting a copyright strike from another YouTube channel because they didn't want us also doing the cricketing while they were, and they are still doing the Cricket World Cup, and they are still taking down other YouTube channels. So sadly, if we are to do the Cricket World Cup, more than likely what will happen is they'll falsely copyright strike us again, and then we won't be able to do any streaming for about 3 weeks while we try and get that copyright strike sorted. So that would mean no rugby, no cricket, and everything along those lines. Sadly, it's pretty much due to another YouTube channel's greed, we won't be able to cover any cricket until after the World Cup, which really sucks because yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing all the games of the Cricket World Cup. But yeah, it's just the dirty tactics of another YouTube channel make it very tough to be able to do so. Fiji are dangerous. Kiwis got smashed by Fiji at the Rugby League World Cup 2017. Says Nate there, man. We all hope South Africa win the Cricket World Cup because they are such an unlucky team when it comes to Cricket World Cup, says Yanri now. Yeah, they're always right up there, but never quite able to get themselves that last, I guess, little edge that they need to be able to get. But currently 58 and a half minutes through that game between Wales and the Cook Islands. It was extremely close. I hope that this game gets a bit closer near the end. And hopefully we have a few other close games throughout the Rugby League World Cup in the future as well. Because one-sided games, as fun as they are for the team winning, not very fun for the side that are losing them. Unfortunately, we saw Fiji defeated by France last night in the Women's World Cup. That was a relatively one-sided affair. And because of it, it means that Fiji more than likely are going to be missing out on the top 8. Geez, it was quite an interesting way that Cook Islands versus Wales game ended. To be fair, it was that ball thrown, hit the back of one of the players' elbows, and the Cook Islands just managed to hang on in their game 18 points to 12. But currently, looking at the way that our group sits, that we're currently focused on, Group B, Australia at the top of the bunch, sitting on 4. Italy also going to be up there, sitting on 2 points. But after this game, currently Fiji find themselves on a -4 points differential. Italy find themselves on a -6 points differential, hence why Fiji will now be just a little bit higher than them on the live standings. But there's a chance by the end of this game that Fiji may be able to get themselves well and truly comfortably up a bit further on their grouping as well. Yeah, anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got plenty more Rugby League World Cup coming up in the future. I'll have a quick look and see what the next live stream we are doing for the Rugby League World Cup is, but I believe it will end up being the matchup between Greece and Samoa. Now, that could be a good game of rugby league, and hopefully I don't sneeze throughout it. Hi, says Manitz. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Currently, Fiji having a strong first half. We'll be looking to continue on their dominant ways in the second. But yeah, It's going to be the next live stream that we do for the Rugby League World Cup, Samoa versus Greece. That is 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Then on Tuesday morning, we will be doing Tonga versus Wales. And then Wednesday morning, we will be doing Papua New Guinea versus the Cook Islands. So we've still got another 3 Rugby League streams that we have got coming up on upcoming days. And it's actually, I mentioned it on the live stream yesterday, it's actually a really good time to have a game of rugby league. 7:30 a.m. New Zealand time means that, like, normally I'm up a little bit later during the week, but I still have got work during the week as well. So it means I can kind of, I guess you could say, get the live stream finished in the morning rather than doing one late night. Do the live stream, be up and about for the day, and then end up going to work, going home, going to sleep, and then doing the same thing the next day. It gets me on a good time zone schedule, definitely heading into summer with the fact that it is getting lighter and hotter earlier in the morning. Saracens lead so far. There's young Renell there as well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that game ends. I really am keen on watching the second half of it, and I think that is going to be my plan once we do move after this live stream. I should mention it's currently 3:30 a.m. You know, it's getting close to summer when, like, I'm wearing shorts at the moment. It's 7 degrees, which is quite cold actually. I probably should have pants on now that I think about it. Anyone who's just tuned in now, I should clarify, I have got shorts on rather than the pants, not literally no pants. It's not quite hot enough for that yet. And I'm thinking also I'm in my lounge, so that might be a bit awkward if anyone ends up walking in and I'm just chilling in my briefs. But second half just around the corner now for these two exciting sides. Italy want to try and fire back here, try and cut down that points differential. If they can somehow finish this game losing it by less than 30, that would be massive for them, because then they'd still have second place heading into their next game, although they would then have to beat Australia or lose by a smaller margin than Fiji lost to Scotland. If Fiji lost to Scotland, which I don't see happening at this point in time. We have got there Mugios, or Mug. Oh, I really suck at that name. Mugios try against France was a classic. Says Nate there. Have I pronounced that correctly, Nathan, or have I got it wrong? Mugios. My mouth doesn't want to do it. Mugios. Saracens 7 and the Chiefs 3. Says Manitz there. Currently a second half still to come. The Grada Island will only do one late night match because of the pubs. So that's Australia, 8 p.m. Irish time on week 5. There's Richard. And there as well, right? They are saying that the Fijians, they'll be looking into the sun for the second half. Actually, they weren't really able to get too much of an attack going running this way on the field. Mogios. Is that how you say it? Or Mogios? Mogios. And why do all the Northern Hemisphere teams put stars above their jersey, showing how many trophies they have won, but the Southern Hemisphere don't do it? Says Jan Renell. Good question, I guess. Although, if we're talking rugby World Cups, maybe it's just England who have got 1 star in there, but the Southern Hemisphere don't really have too many of the. I don't know. It just seems to be, depends on the team, really. Some teams enjoy showing that they've won things. It's like the jerseys. Some of the jerseys, or most of the jerseys actually nowadays, have the, what game it was, what the date was that the game was taking place. They kind of have a little, I guess, a summary of what the day is on the jersey, which is quite cool. My arm's very see-through. If I go like that, it kind of doesn't become see-through, but I don't want to hold it like this. 9 minutes left in the first half. There's minutes and there as well for the Gallagher Premiership game. So yeah, be sure to keep us updated on what happens in the second half of that one. Italy already having a good attack for the second half, which is great to see. We want to see them at least challenge the Fijian defence a little bit, and it will help Fiji in the long run as well if they do find themselves getting challenged. Now, nice pass on the outside. The quick hands now. Italy down the wing, trying to go forward. It is Mason who's a good tackle made on him. Always do. They did it in 2015 World Cup. And Leinster have 4 stars above their logo and Saracens 3 above theirs. Cheers, Jan Renell. Is that based off the amount of titles that they've won, or is it just their logo? Because I know Leinster, I think if they won more than 4, I feel like they would have. With how skilled of a side the Leinster men are now. Nice run once again now. Tackle 2 taking place for Fiji. Good attacking run this time from the captain. He's already scored himself a try earlier on in the contest. Going off to the left, Fiji. Got the sun to oppose with in this second half, or compete with, I guess you could say. The high ball from Italy could be a very dangerous tactic if they do decide to use it wisely. Good run once again. That is actually one of the interchange players, Sadugru, who did end up himself almost penalised earlier on off the park, but he did luckily manage to avoid it. Now, Tagi Tuimara looks like he's had a bit of a mistake there, and Italy now are going to have themselves another bit of possession. Edinburgh won Zephyr. It was 38-19, so yeah, nice one for Edinburgh. Although Zephyr, they're a good side this year. I know that they haven't won many games, but they are competing a lot better than they did last year. And most improved team, you've got to almost say that they are it. The way they've been going, that's the European Cups they both won. We will add 5 this year, says Richard. And there as well, nice work from Italy, hanging on to this ball. Seems like they've got an extra spring in their step here, Italy, for the second half, which is terrific to see. The next game, like I mentioned, it's going to be the URC in just under 4 hours' time. Matchup between Munster, that's a lie, sorry. The matchup between Cardiff and also the Stormers. Now fired back. They only made the 23 metres, the Italy second half team. Here's Marnitz there. Now going to be nicely taken by Sivo. What can he do with it? I mentioned he's been a little bit quiet in the last little while. He's going to be taken down now, but I guess when you're made of a lot of muscle, you have, I guess, that little bit more of that fast twitch fiber. You have an explosive run or an explosive carry, and then you do need to rest for a little bit before you have your next explosive carry. Now, nice run from Taruva. Number 3. The moment, this referee's pretty good at communicating. Yes, he yells at the players, but he's making it very clear in every breakdown what is kind of going on. If Fiji 50 plus the Italian will be playing defence this second half, says Nate. And there's unfortunately at the start of the game I predicted Fiji to win by 16, and I regret that now because it does mean pretty much that I was very wrong by a lot, unless Italy do something major here. Right, it's a tackle 5, knock on, and Italy now, well, that was slapped down in the hands from Valamir, but they will be going back across, and the reset starts. Italy only 10 metres out from their own line here. They've got a lot of metres to be made, but the next Rugby League World Cup game that has taken place, I believe it's actually at 5 a.m. That's going to be between England and France. That will be an intriguing watch. Probably will watch that one while doing the editing of the upcoming video for the channel. It's coming out in about 10 hours time, I believe, somewhere around there, maybe even a little bit later, maybe about 7 p.m. New Zealand time. And that will be the live stream, well, not the live stream, sorry, the video of me and George playing Greece versus Samoa. It was one of those contests that were intriguing to see that was taking place. So I decided why not try and play it. And it's just going to take a long time to edit because of the swearing throughout the matches as well. Now, last for Italy, not the best pass back into the pocket, but he's done well to still be able to take it. Now going forward, nice take from the big number 24 for Fiji, going sideways. Kara Walevu still going. Now he's getting the legs driving. This is going to be a hard man to put down, but great tackle made by Lapori, able to tie up the ankles. Now, 50 metres off the very first phase. Korisau hits the gap, stepping hard, finds the offload on the inside. All Fiji need is one more pass, and they could have scored, but it's going to be well done. Oh, he finds the offload anyway. Fiji in between, and they're over. Again, nice work. That is going to be Tagi Tuimura, who was able to score it, and that's going to be his second try of the match. That one was just pretty much offload after offload once again. I thought Taruva was held, but after about 3 or 4 seconds, still able to find that little offload. And let's go try Fiji. Says Nate. And there as well. Very nicely done by Fiji. It all came from this first initial run, though, from Kara Walevu. He was able to find the gap. Great last-ditch tackle from the Pori, who was able to stop him. But then from there, it's just a great offload. Almost a knock on there, but finds the hands of Tangi Tuimura. Yeah, it was just a bounce pass Worked nicely. 46 minutes through. Fiji now have themselves 34 points. I guess the bigger question now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to clear yes or a no in the chat from everyone. Fiji, do they reach 60 points in this game? Doesn't matter how many Italy get. Do Fiji get 60? Yes or no in the chat? Do let me know, ladies and gentlemen. Bullet Boys on fire. Says Nazi Williams at the through the box in the All Blacks. 3 World Cup trophies on their shirt showing the dates, which they will have won. It says Yanri. Kicked over from Wakeham. It's gone over. 36 points to nil. No, says Marnitz there. Yes, from Yanri now. Okay, it's a 50-50 split at the moment. Who's going to be the deciding factor for that one? And 60 plus, my guy, says Nate. Okay, so you're going even higher than the 60. Going to continue building up towards this guy. Looking at the English Premiership Rugby England international team to have a hope this November. Awful rugby, says Richard. Can I sit on the fence, says Nazi Williams? But that's my job, Nazi Williams. That's the one that I normally well and truly secure. I'm very good at sitting on the fence. I seem to be able to not decide an exact winner. Anytime I try a prediction, it normally goes wrong. As you saw at the start of this game, Fiji by 16 was my guess there for this matchup. It might be Fiji by 60. Maybe I can say that I accidentally misspoke at the time. Well, says Nazi Williams. And there's all right, Fiji, they're going to have their, once again, reset. Going back across to the right-hand side. Now nice work from the captain. Tries to get back up and go again. He's still making a couple extra meters in the process. Nice pass off. Fiji going away to the left. Another attack and run this time by, I believe, who is that? It's number 22. I was going to say, surely it's not number 2 or number 12, because I knew that both of those players were players I knew, but instead it was actually Selwa Wong. That's going to be a tough one, hanging up in the air. Brilliant take from Italy, though. And now Nathan Brown going to start the attack for the Italians. In fact, no, it's going to be Lapori instead. Great take. And I said Edinburgh will win with 28, says Marnitz. So not too far off the prediction there. Now down the wing, put it on the afterburners, ripped into touch. Jeez, it's a brutal one. Just apologises there to Fijian for throwing Mason over the touchline. They're just going to be showing the Lapori run again. He was able to take it beautifully, and it just left a massive gap. I believe Viliami Kakao was the man caught slightly out of position. He tried to chase it also, then just left it for the gap. It was quite large. Yeah, the UFC would have started, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe it's a bit earlier than it normally is with this event, and also, but they won with 19. And Fiji no, because no scoring or not scoring at the same rate as Australia last night at this time, 50 at most or less, says Richard. And there's, okay, so I think we've got a pretty even split. I believe we've got 2 saying yes, 2 saying no, or somewhere around there. So I like it. It's nice and even. So that means Nazi Williams, whatever you pick, if I say the other one, then we're both kind of sitting on the fence still, and it's still even. Bit of an idea. Running forward here for the Fijians. Moving up to the halfway line, not quite working out the way that they did want it to. One moment, we're going to go here, and we are going to go here. There we go. Now driving forward. 50 minutes through, so still 30 minutes left on the clock. Now Fiji going for a bit of a banana kick there. Wakeham, the ball sets up, and Fiji have got themselves another one between the sticks. Nakubawai, they want to check this one though. After I makes it a 10-7. No then, says Nazi Williams. Okay, well, I think they will. Now it's all even, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we can't decide whether or not Fiji get themselves to 60. And if this is a try, that's going to put them a little bit closer as well, to be fair. But they're going to be checking this one for the video referee. Okay, they want to check all available angles for the onside and offside. No 10 minutes to go. Yanni says, or Richard. And oh, hold on, says Nazi Williams. Yeah, I guess that might change if this is a try, doesn't it? Okay, they're going short side. He's onside. He's onside. Everybody's onside. Now they can track through to the grounding as long as this one's going to be legally put down. Could be a try for Fiji. Has he got it though? Nakubawai looking to put this ball down, had some pressure on him. Oh, he's got that. And that's going to be the try. Only 30 minutes gone. Watching it here, says Richard there. All right, that's going to be the try for the Fijians, and that will move them up more than likely to 32. Sorry, 42. That's the start. But that is going to be now a nice try for the Fijians. Nakubawai does manage to score it, and now they move up to 40 points. Score right, says Richard in there. Was indeed, but Ben Nakubawai, his first try in the Rugby League World Cup. Maybe not the last either if he's finding himself in positions just like that. Only a couple meters out from the line, though. He never looked like he was going to be stopped once he started striding. Very nicely done indeed. Sorry, 10-10 half time between the Saracens and the Chiefs. Here's Yanri now there. Now the kick for Wakeham. Straight out in front of the post. Lions versus Glasgow, and shows whose Ulster is postponed. Says Marnitz, it is indeed due to gastro, unfortunately. And how are you doing? Leinster versus Munster URC today, says Jan Lubrand. I wish that I could, but they aren't actually showing it here in New Zealand because they did have Ulster versus Sharks as their playing game. But because that one got cancelled or postponed, they didn't actually get the opportunity to then be able to secure the licensing for Munster versus Leinster. So, yeah, they aren't actually showing it here in New Zealand, which is a big shame because that's going to be a great game. In fact, while I'm at it, I'm going to see whether or not that has changed and maybe they do have the game. I'll just have a quick look. They got England versus France, New Zealand versus Jamaica, Cardiff versus Stormers. Yeah, so they haven't actually got that game happening here in New Zealand, sadly. But we are doing the Stormers versus Cardiff. Good morning, bro, says D7. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. Yes, now halftime 10-10. And there says Richard. But Fiji, once again, have this ball. Parata taken off the field for Italy. And that is going to be for Tramontana, who has made his way out there. Another couple extra meters made by Fiji. That time it was Masima. Did very nicely. 52 minutes through, 28 minutes left on the clock here for Fiji to try and get themselves another 3 converted tries. Oh, okay. Italy was very confused at that point in time, so they gave the tackle away, Fiji, to stop the penalty from taking place. Taruva goes, and Australia have more advanced at Rugby League NRL, and State of Origin is in their DNA. And France versus England is big, says Marnitz. Yeah, that's going to be a tremendous game of rugby league. That is for sure. Nicely taken by Viliami Kakao. Now goes back. The quick hands. Here goes Sivu down the wing. Has he got his first try? He sure does. Fiji get another. And that is now going to make it 46-0 in favour of the Fijians. Do you think the New Zealand teams would dominate the URC like the Crusaders and the Blues Hurricanes if they join the URC? I don't think dominate would be the case. I feel like they'd compete. But I don't know about dominate because we've seen for South Africa, it took a little while to get the hang of the Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere travel type thing. Whole new opposition as well. So I think they'd do all right, but I don't think they'd dominate. I feel like they would be probably like top to mid-table, the teams that you've listed there, Crusaders, Blues, and Hurricanes. And then maybe if the Highlanders were in there, they might be kind of mid to bottom table-ish. It just depends on the games, I guess, and who's got home game advantage. No one or only one around the world showing Munster. Leinster is RTE in Ireland for some reason, says Richard. Yeah, I think everyone else secured the licensing for Ulster versus the Sharks because that was going to be a big game with the 2 different countries taking part in it. But yeah, because that game's not taking place, I guess RTE is probably going to be very popular tonight for Leinster versus Munster as there's no longer the overlap, which I thought was pretty rough that those 2 games overlapped anyway. Because, like, those 2 sides, normally the Irish Derby is one a lot of people want to watch. Could possibly change my mind. Gives a few minutes, says Nazi Williams. Well, if you change your mind, does that mean I also have to change mine to what yours mind was so that we're still even? Although I think I'll be changing my one to the wrong answer at this stage. Cody Sal. Looks like he's going to be lining up this kick. Wakeham. 7 from 7 today. They've decided to give another kicking opportunity. And, he's got it nicely, Coruscant. Drifting it nice. I think that's just for Fiji to test out a couple other options that they've got off the tee. Just to make sure that they have still got that extra chance if there was an injury. Now, the thing is, New Zealand came to this Rugby League World Cup, I believe, without a specialist kicker. So that could come to cost them a little bit later on. And, yeah, I would think so. Because if the South African team is destroying every team in the URC, surely the New Zealand team will. Cheers, Yanri now. Although, if they did make the rule that because, it's a big cheap shot. It's going to be called as a knock-on, but the Italian player got absolutely cleaned up by Rawalui in that one. Okay, I believe he's given a penalty, is he? So the kickoff bounces, it slapped back. Okay, so it's a penalty for the cheap shot, I believe. If I'm not wrong. Yeah, Italy now with another good carry forward. Ball's going to be available. Now at the back, Cremontana goes off to the right. Can Italy? Oh, that's a good shot from Cacao, though. And Ireland relying Kerry. A lot of Kerry is marked, unable to play his game. Opposition shutting him out. Who's Ireland's next star player to step up? Says Nate there. Nice ball, Italy. Oh, I think his foot was on the line, unfortunately, for Mason. They're going to have to check the big screen for this one. Whether or not Mason has got the Italians on the board is just a way to go. Okay, it's a yes then, says Nuzzy Williams' chance, 60 to 80. Yeah, but the problem is the difference, the time difference, South Africa, as far as I know, yeah. So the big thing is, if they said that all the New Zealand teams had to play in the Northern Hemisphere and didn't have home games, I think the Northern Hemisphere would get the hang of it for a little while, and then maybe New Zealand start to get used to it and start to go a bit better. Right, for the corner, Mason. He just looked like he was very close to the touchline, although this is looking decent. This is looking good. Yep, that is a try for Mason. Well done for Italy, getting themselves their first try of the contest now. My view's obstructed. I think this angle here really shows it clearly that he's in field. That he's... Oh, does he slam the ball down or does he drop it? Yeah, that's a clear try for Italy there. So they are going to have themselves their first points on the board because South Africa teams are playing at home, play early or either 1 p.m. or 5 p.m. Some reason Irish time, says Richard. So 24 minutes left in this contest and Italy get themselves their first points of the day. They have already done better than we saw Scotland did up against Australia. See, now my brain's saying, what's going to happen in that Scotland versus Fiji game? Because Scotland have gone on and got themselves quite a few points here up against Italy. And then the same can be said, what's going to happen in that Australia-Italy game? Are we going to see a really one-sided affair, or could it be a little bit closer? Because I know that Australia play Italy. That is at 7:30 a.m. on the Sunday. Fiji versus Scotland is at 5 a.m. on the Sunday. And then also New Zealand play Ireland on the Saturday morning. Hang on. Fiji versus Scotland overlaps with Scotland versus Australia, the men's union match. So we're going to have to juggle a little bit next week as well, by the looks of it. And also Lebanon and Ireland game, says, let's go to Lebanon, says Nate. Yeah, it will be interesting because Ireland also didn't do terribly in their first game, did they? They must have played Jamaica. They won by about 44 points, somewhere around that margin. So, yeah, it could be a good game. See exactly who wins it. 46 points. I got it wrong, unfortunately. And also, they should kick Australia out because no one likes them. I don't know whether or not it's a good enough reason to warrant getting rid of a side. You know, even if the statement is true in some regards, I don't mind Australia overall. I've never understood the New Zealand versus Australia trans-Tasman. Like, I can get the trans-Tasman rivalry, but I find it so funny because, like, New Zealanders are like, I really hate Australia. Australia sucks. Where you going in December? Oh, I'm going on holiday. I'm going on holiday. I'm just going to go to Sydney for a week. And it's like, you're literally funding their economy by going over there. And it's like, oh, yeah, but I hate them and their sports and whatnot. And then they just go on another holiday to Brisbane for a week. And it's like, you can't have it both ways. You either don't like them and you go somewhere else instead on a holiday, or you like them a little bit and you just won't admit it. And the next Irish, or best Irish player is Ulster's second number 10, the redhead. Can't think of his name. Ulster's second. I can't think of him either. First of all, when you said redhead, I thought of Kieran Frawley, but he's a Leinster boy, isn't he? 58 minutes through, though. Fiji now, it looks like a little bit slow getting up there for the Fijian fullback to Ruva. He's done well to take it, though. Just kind of slid awkwardly in the process. Fiji doing better than Ireland, 48 points. English accents. Would you like a cup of tea? I feel like that was a terrible English accent, wasn't it? My dad actually plays golf with someone from England. And he's got quite a strong English accent. He also gets very fired up about his golf. The Englishman, not my dad. My dad, of course, no one likes hitting a slice, do they? The only slice he likes hitting is a pizza slice. Even that he's a bit fussy with. I hope he's not awake at the moment. All right, I don't actually know what his favourite type of pizza is, to be honest. Barbecue chicken, maybe. Lapori cleans it up quite nicely. That's the next question, ladies and gentlemen, for the chat. Favourite pizza? Do let me know. Yeah, that's him. He moved to Ulster this season. Oh, okay, so Kieran Frawley is the man we were thinking of. Only 21 minutes left. But yeah, favourite pizza flavour? Do let me know. And I guess if it's from a certain pizza outfit, do let me know which one that is as well, because I might have to try it. Now available once again, Italy. Going off to the left-hand side. Nice little bit of a shuffle there. I'm back to the right-hand side. Juggled, unfortunately, from Italy. And now it gives another opportunity for Sadrugu. But the Australian teams have add no value to the Trans-Tasman tournament because the semi and final will always be between two New Zealand teams. Here's Jan Rinel. And yeah, it's actually been said about how, like Australia, they've got the funding of a Western Force billionaire. And he's willing to say, if you guys want to go separate in Super Rugby and just play against yourselves, I will make it happen. But the question is, how much of a damaging toll will that take on Australian rugby? Pizza Hut ham and cheese, $5 value for money, says Nazi Williams. Here's something I've never quite understood, but I think it's because of the cheese ratio. Pizza Hut, ham and cheese pizza, $5. Solid. Then a cheese pizza from Pizza Hut, like $7.50 or $8 or something. And it's like, how much extra cheese is put in there? And how cheap is the ham? Like, why isn't the $5 cheese pizza as well? Just me? I feel like I've mentioned this about KFC as well with the chicken tenders, why they got rid of them. I have no idea. Now they've brought them back, but they're not the same as the crispy strips. No pizza for me, a steak all the way, says Richard. Question, Richard, what about a steak pizza? Is that a thing? Like big chunks of steak on it. Now Fiji, little kick in behind. It's grabbing forward here. Oh, not quite able to get it down. I don't believe who will win the Leinster versus Munster match, says Patrick. It's an intriguing contest because a week ago I would have said Leinster all the way. But now that Munster have been able to get themselves a victory, it just makes it a little bit harder to pick. And also the other thing to think about is it's a Leinster home game. So I'm going to say Leinster narrowly, but Munster will put up a good fight now that they've found themselves a bit of form this season. And I can see that game definitely being decided by less than 10, maybe even less than 5. And I agree the game became boring, New Zealand and Oz, says Nate. And there as well. Now nice run forward, 62 metres through in this contest so far. Italy with a 44-point deficit. What is your score prediction between South Africa versus England women's? I think England win by 70 plus. There's a good chance that we see something along those lines. Although South Africa at times throughout the Women's World Cup have shown little moments of brilliance. Just whether or not they've shown enough. This is an individual moment of brilliance here from Fiji. They're up to 0 once again for the tackle count. Yeah, Munster versus Leinster actually only an hour and a bit away, isn't it? Just looking through at the Women's World Cup, Japan versus Italy will be the first contest and no too much sauce. What about with no sauce? Maybe. I'm a weird person. Well, I like how I say that statement so calmly and like it's a regular statement. Whereas some people really don't want to be called weird, but I feel like I just embrace the weirdness. But I would say, for me, I don't mind ordering something with no sauce. You know, sometimes it makes it better. You get more of the taste of the other thing. Some things get overloaded with sauce. Here comes Sevu's sauce. That sounds very weird, but he's going to score the try. There's that's a feeds Domino's the down from Nate. And there as well. And also Leinster 35-10. Nice work from Sevu. Some special sauce making his way through the gap. But yeah, Fiji versus South Africa was 21-17. So I would say maybe 50 points, somewhere around there for South Africa, unless they've got their heads down and they've already given up. Then you could see like an 80-point victory for the English once again, like they did over the Fijians. But Sevu's done beautifully there to be able to get his second try of the match. And then, yes, Hamish, I would eat it, says Richard. And there's a great offload from Viliami Kakao. Sivu goes through. That is the 52 points now on the board. If they get this conversion over, they will move to 54 and just need one more. And also, we all know Leinster is going to destroy Munster because Munster beat the Bulls by 12, while Bulls are playing like grade 2, says Jan now. True, but like Munster before their game, they were playing shockingly in their URC season. This is a season they wanted to forget up until they finally got that win under their belt. And now I feel like their momentum might start to shift a little bit. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I'm excited. I just wish I could watch that game. I'm probably going to have to do some sort of either investigating to see if I can find a stream on YouTube of it, like probably what a lot of you guys do. And then you end up here, and then we get to have a chat during those matches. But yeah, either look for it or just hope that there's a replay of it that goes up somewhere relatively soon after. There's a big yawn. My jersey smells like sunscreen. I actually went to the beach the other day, believe it or not. It's really weird, me saying I went outside, but it's happening more often now. But it's strange. Now, Kurisau, nice kick. Really keeps it low, Kurisau. He doesn't allow the wind to take hold of the ball. 54 points to 4 now. So Italy, they have to try and stop Fiji from scoring one try in 15 minutes for the 60-point margin on the board. But every extra point that the Fijians get, this is massive for them. If they get a big enough win over Scotland next week and Australia only narrowly beat Italy, which doesn't look likely at the moment because Italy have been well and truly dominated here, but there's a chance that we may end up seeing Fiji qualifying quite nicely up there. But if they didn't have Australia in their group, I'd say they qualify close to first, but because they got the Aussies, it does make it a lot more tricky. When Ireland play Ireland, this game all of its own never ends as expected, says Richard. Yeah, they seem to always have a lot closer contest when the two sides are playing off. I think we're going to see that again, possibly. As you see how under 19 or 19-year-old Ruan Finta almost ended Hamish Watson's career between Lions and Edinburgh, where the Lions won 22 points to 19. I didn't get to see that one. I don't think. What did he? Oh, was that? It wasn't a knee one, was it? Was it a knee one? Because if it was, maybe I did see it. That's a beautiful offload, but it's going to be dropped by Fiji now. And Italy have been able to clean this ball up. It will be the Italian fullback, and they win the penalty in the process as well. A little bit of a high tackle made. Okay. Who's this referee look like? This referee actually looks like a person. I don't know whether it's such a dumb statement without the context. This referee looks like a person, but he looks kind of like Phil Foden a little bit with a beard. It's almost a combination of Phil Foden, for anyone who knows who that is. And there's also a little bit of maybe a UFC fighter in there. Who's someone with a decent beard? In fact, he kind of looks like a rugby league player, actually, now that I think about it. And what about VPN RTE? He said to try to someone a few months ago, try VPN, says Richard. So that's a good point. So how do you get RTE? Is it like an app or is it a website, Richard? Do let me know. I've never actually looked into RTE before because normally the games that I look for are actually here in New Zealand. So it makes it a little bit easier. Currently 13 minutes left. It's almost fifth and final for Italy. They've got one more phase here. Those Saracens versus Exeter. Such a classic slugfest. Always seems to be between those two sides. A back and forth encounter. And then one side normally get the win in the last few moments of the game. So I think I'll actually get to see the end of that game. Now it's going to be kicked in behind by Italy. Straight into the hands of Sivo. No, in fact, it's not going to be Sivo there. It is instead going to be Kara Walevu. Back across. Fiji going to the left. It's going to be the captain. Get a couple extra meters. Robertson able to get the ankles, though. Stop him from marching too much further forward. There's a couple trainers on the field. A lot of these players will be feeling from the big contacts that they've had throughout this matchup. 68 minutes through. Now going back across to the left. Nice run. That was Gamitha. Back across almost on the halfway line now for Fiji. Ball on the outside. Sivu tries to find the offload, but it does go straight into touch. And instead now, it is going to be the Italians' ball. Right, what we're quickly going to do, because I am lucky enough to have Sky as well, I'm actually going to get a mini screen up of the Gallagher Premiership and put it on my other screen. There we go. I see Mara Atoje. So we'll put that down there. And now we can see both games. So 43 minutes through that game between the Exeter Chiefs and Saracens, currently sitting 10-10. I just bit my tongue. It's unfortunate. But our next live stream, I should mention, ladies and gentlemen, is in 3.5 hours' time. And that will be the matchup between Cardiff and the Stormers. So we will be covering that one. Then after that, I believe the next live stream is Samoa versus Greece, which is a bit further down the line. In the future, 68.5 minutes through. Now Barson at back. It's going to be another penalty. This time, it's going to be against Italy, I believe. Okay, I see that referee again, and his face looks so familiar. Do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, if you can see the game. Who does this referee look like? He looks like a player, but also a combination of a couple. He's got a loud voice, though, and I feel like that's the main thing, isn't it? Just ended up going wrong for the Italians. Sosino overran it. And now Fiji with 10 minutes left on the clock. They still need one more try to be able to get themselves their 60 points. Looks like it's raining in the Exeter Chiefs versus Saracens game also, so that may make it a little bit harder for the handling department. Kamikamica. There's another good carry. Now Fiji. They get it out the back line. This is going to be maybe their chance to get another try on the board. They just seem to be able to use it so beautifully out that back line. That time it is going to be Vuni Yayawa. Second phase. Now back across. Kurisau goes one more, looking to use the fin there. Nice work from Taruvu. Now Sims crashes it up. That's a name we haven't said too often throughout this game. Sims, he almost found the offload. Still creeping just a little bit closer to the line. Might have knocked it on, though, on the ground. Tried to find the offload. And Sims has a bit of a juggle of the ball. Right, Italy, there'll be no hurry for them here. They'll want to try and just regather their breath. Just really try and make some big meters here. What is your score prediction between Stormers and Cardiff? Or Stormers and Cardiff? I think Stormers win by 30 plus. So they're such a quality team. Says Yanri now. 30 plus away from home is a big call, Yanri. I'm going to say Stormers by 7. I'll go with. Mainly because they are missing Evan Ruiz. They haven't got him. They haven't got Mani Lebok. They also don't have Sanatla in that back line. They are missing a couple of their other good forwards. So they haven't got Damian Valimza. Clayton Bloinkis, though, has been doing very nicely. It looks like an Italian player. Does not look too flashy. Got one of those neck crunches. Depends on the wind and the rain. Says Yanri now. Exactly right. So another deciding factor in these games has been the weather. So I would say if it's raining, I'm going to go Cardiff by 3. But if it's not raining, Stormers by 7. There you go. That's a big, bold prediction that I would be too scared to say on the Stormers live stream once our regular South Africans get into the chat. So you will know that one. It's their secret. Yeah, just got a little bit of the crush on the neck. Nainama. And they're right. They're showing it. Yeah, it's just that crushing kind of motion. Unfortunately, Vuni Yayayawa, he ended up putting a little bit of extra weight down on the neck. Like they're saying, not too much in it for that one. But Italy, they're going to have the ball now. They're up to the second tackle. Going back across to the side, it will be the big number 8, Alec Sosino. Running back the 10. It seems like Fiji's starting to get a little bit slower with marching back the 10 metres, but I think that's just from the fatigue. They have scored a lot of points throughout this game. And our question of whether it's going to be 60 points on the board for Fiji seems to be, I guess, about par at the moment. Because with 8 minutes left on the clock, they still need one more try. So it could actually come down to the wire for our predictions here. And the 4G pitch, says Yanri now, yeah, that can always be a deciding factor as well, can't it? The good old AstroTurf. Underneath, nice run back from Fiji. King makes the tackle on him, though. Like they're saying, the next game in this group, it is going to be Fiji versus Scotland next week. And then alongside that, there is also going to be the game taking place between Australia and Italy. Could end up being a high-scoring affair. But now 72 minutes through. Going back across to the left-hand side. Rush defence from Parata, putting the body on the line late in this contest. Even though knows that it's not going to make a difference in the results, still wants to try his best. Get some big hits in. Fiji now go away to the right-hand side this time. It is going to be Kamikamica. Goes away to the left tackle, 4 already for Fiji. They're going to be about 30 metres out from the line here with this last kicking opportunity of the set. 51 metres gained. Now it goes back. Ball gone high. This is going to be a dangerous one because it's being chased hard by the skipper. A little bit of a miscommunication almost from Italy at the back. It's going to be taken nicely by the fullback, Paul Sally. Now going to the left-hand side here, Italy. If they can score themselves another try now, it will be a very similar scoreline to what we saw between Fiji and Australia, just completely reversed. Just realised South Africa doesn't have a rugby league team. Says Yanri now, yeah. It was talked about a while ago that apparently anyone who was willing to play rugby league was then banned from playing rugby union. So they didn't actually end up having much of a chance in the rugby league world. Although soon I think rugby league South Africa are playing a side. So I'm interested to see how they go in that matchup. And if we are able to cover it on the channel, that's going to be stolen. Penalty goes against Fiji for being offside. It looks like the quick tap. He wanted to take it for Tramontana. But, oh, they're actually going to have a captain's challenge here. Okay, they're checking to see whether or not it's offside against Italy after the ball was tucked by Fiji. As the referee said. That's how he says it. Fiji. Or not Fiji. How do you say Fiji with an English accent? Oh, okay, so I think there's a knock-on from Italy initially, is my guess there. But last time I said that it was a knock-on, they said it wasn't a knock-on. So I'm not sure how they'll rule this because I think they'll do really well even getting in the semis or the finals. Says Yanri now. Yeah, if they put the same effort in as they do for rugby union, like they could certainly be a tough side. It's touched by Fiji and it's the comment from the TMO. So I think this one is going to be Italy's way. Yeah, Fiji with an unsuccessful captain's challenge here. It doesn't matter. You're in an offside penalty there. Okay, so the penalty goes the way of Italy. They'll be able to kick this one downfield and try and get themselves a few extra meters there. So with 6 minutes left on the clock, it's still that question. Will Fiji score 60 points? Depending on where the try is, if they score a try, it could be a weird finish to this game. In terms of we've made our own miniature scoreline that we need to try and get to. And 50 minutes gone in the chess game feels like forever, says Yanri now. Yeah, currently these two sides still very evenly matched, although Billy Vanapola getting close to the line there. For Saracens, I see Italy now getting extremely close to the try line now. Now going away to the left-hand side. Nice seller, the dummy. Here comes the big number 10 trying to spin over the line. Area not quite able to do so. Kurisao has been taken off the field. That is for Stud Drugu. Jumped on the ball there for Sims. Okay, they're going to be checking something again here. I believe it's actually going to be a scrum feed. This one, like they're saying, there's a few players who have man of the match contention available here. I would say for me, if I had to pick a man of the match, it's either got to be Viliami Kakao or you'd probably go... I don't know. I feel like Kurisao's been decent, but I don't know whether I give him man of the match. I might go Kara Walevu as my man of the match. You know, he's played pretty well. I don't know how many tries he scored throughout the game, though, which might be one of the deciding factors. Italy going now off to the side. Another big run forward. Nice work from the Italians. They have passion, so they're not going to give up till the end. And also, we have got their nice commentary, bro, listening from Broome in Western Australia. Says Nick Priest there. So Western Australia, you guys are still 5 hours behind us Kiwis, aren't you? So you're 11:15 a.m. I assume I've got that correct, hopefully. Do let me know if it's slightly wrong, though. I know daylight saving messed it up a little bit. Now, Italy still looking away to the right-hand side. Going to use their big man, Sosino. Shut down, though, by the even bigger Fijian player, though, driven backwards about 5 meters or so. Fourth tackle now for Italy with 4 minutes left on the clock. Looking to go to the right-hand side. Now, nice pass inside, ball close. I've once again bit my tongue. It's getting in all the wrong places today. I feel like it's the combination of Italian names and Fijian names. It's pretty much just a disaster waiting to happen for your tongue. Now back across Going with the grubber in behind. Not quite cleaned up cleanly by Fiji. It's going to be another penalty to Italy. And yeah, bro, says Nick Priest. And there as well. So I assume you were very happy with the performance you saw from, I was about to say from Scotland, but from Australia up against Scotland in the game yesterday. What happens here? So it's a knock on and then an accidental offside, I believe, against Fiji. And you think boxing the All Blacks win all their Northern Hemisphere games or not, says Yanni now. I think it's going to be tough. I think New Zealand's big scary game, well, not really scary, but their one that they'll be looking at closely will be their game up against England, and South Africa's game they'll be looking at closely will be up against Ireland, I think. Those are the two big matches. I don't know. Do South Africa play France? Because if they play France, maybe that is another one they will have to keep a close eye on. Nice pass on the outside. Italy make the mistake, though. Sevo passes on the inside, but it was in touch, so they do have to go back for the initial ball being out. I wonder if this is a Fiji foot in touch or whether Italy actually ended up putting this ball out. We'll have to have a quick look at this one, maybe in the replay, but it was the wide cutout pass, bit of a juggle, so it would count as the knock on, and then, what's that out? I wonder who was out for that one. I didn't see Sevo out anyway. We'll have a quick look. International rugby. I know that New Zealand, they play Scotland at the same time as the Barbarians play the All Blacks 15, which is a bit of a shame. Set the benchmark for the comp. Did the Roos, says Nick Priest. Yeah, they are now. They still seem to be the team to beat for me. England are trying to be that team as well, depending on how they go up against France. I think will determine whether or not they are still popular in the department. Now it's going to be Nyama running hard. He's going to be ankle tap. Brilliant work by Italy. Gets back up to his feet, though. Looking for the corner. Ball on the inside. Fiji are going to score in the 78. And that'll bring them up to 58 points now. Now, the question is, will the conversion go over? Because we said, will Fiji score 60 points? It was split 50-50 with the yeses and the nos. And now this kick's probably going to determine it, whether or not they are able to. But it is Sadrugu who was able to score that try for the Fijians. 1 minute 30 left on the clock. I believe we'll only have a couple more phases left in this contest. But yes, South Africa, they have got some big games. Their first game's up against Ireland in 14 days' time. Then their next game after that is going to be up against France. So it's a tough start for the Northern Hemisphere tour for the South Africans. Then they've got Italy, a little bit lighter on the workload. And then I believe they've got one last game up against England. They certainly haven't strayed away from a few challenges, have they? In their upcoming games. It's either the Barbarians get to play a few sides. Overall, of course, overlapping with every other game of international rugby, as they do. Which seems really weird. I would have thought the Barbarians would have been a side to try and have playing lone games. Whether it's a midweek game just for the sake of being able to see them play on the TV. Currently, Fiji, they're up to 58 points. The kick still to come, but there's only 30 seconds left on the clock, so this game might almost be over by the time he does take this kick here. It's going to be Rai Walui going to be lining up this kick. So this will be the third kicking option that we have seen from Fiji. That is because Kurisau has gone off the field also a little bit earlier on. We did see the other kicker, Wakeham, going off. All right, 1 minute 30. That's how long it has taken to take this kick so far for Fiji. 8 seconds left on the board. 3, 2, 1. That will be the full-time siren now. So making sure it takes up all of the time. This kick to determine who was correct and who was wrong. 60. I'd say no then, says Nazi Williams. And I was again, South Africa 18. That kick's gone over. So it's going to be 60 points to 4 in this contest. They'll be pretty happy with that, Fiji. They were able to score the same amount of points in the first half as they did in the second. They did concede a try in the second half, but still 60 points to 4. They will be more than happy with that result. But nonetheless, next game that we are covering on the channel, ladies and gentlemen, is in 3 hours and 10 minutes time. That will be the matchup between the Stormers and Cardiff. So that will be a very entertaining game. And then the next Rugby League World Cup game we have got that we are covering on the channel will be at 5:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. That is the game between Greece and also Samoa. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Shot Fiji, thanks so much. Great call, mate. Says Nazi Williams, no worries at all. And I'm looking forward to another game a little bit later on. Nice Fiji robbed me of 1 point, says Nate. And there as well. yeah, nonetheless, I guess enjoy whatever sport you guys are going to be watching over the next few hours. Also, if you are going to sleep, enjoy some sleep as well. So I believe there's plenty more games taking place. There's currently Gallagher Premiership on. There's the UFC now started. Another rugby league game, England versus France. I'll probably have that on in the corner while doing some editing. Well done, Fiji Hamish. Try that link, says Richard. For the RTE player, says Richard in there as well. I'll give it a look, see whether or not we'll end up working. For myself, too, bro, says Nick in there as well. But yeah, nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, sure leave a like and subscribe, and we'll see you all for the next one.